To the Carnegie Council for Ethics and International Affairs, I want to say happy centennial. Uh, Now, let me introduce Ambassador Tibor Nagy, who has served the U.S. as ambassador in Ethiopia and other African nations. And for Dr. Nagy will take and give us or share his thoughts about the value of having a global ethics day. Ambassador Nagy, excuse me.
No problem.
Yeah.
We have in the last decade or so become a totally globalized society. So many aspects of life have been globalized and are now studied on a global scale. Combined with that most of the leading universities, including Texas Tech, has now made global engagement one of its highest priorities. I don't think President Nellis ever misses an opportunity to emphasize how important he considers expanding and increasing Texas Tech's global engagement. So global ethics is very, very much a key issue, because as long as the globe consisted of isolated communities, it wasn't that important, because people often would say, well, is there such a thing as universal ethics? Or is it all relational? Or is it for this society or for that society? It doesn't matter. But with global commerce, so many other global forces going on, I believe that global ethics is a critically important factor. And for the university to be engaging in Global Ethics Day is of paramount importance.
Ambassador, let me expand on that question. Should nationally universities and colleges be interested in engaging in a global ethics day? And if so, why? How would this benefit us?
Because I think it's an issue which has just started to be really examined, and there's so many different perspectives. And what better place than the academic community to examine an issue like that intellectually, to try to define it, to put our arms around it, to articulate it, to write about it, so that global society at large can also start examining it. The universities and colleges have been the leaders across the board, whether it was science, whether it was the humanities. And this also, I think, is a critically important role for the colleges and universities. And it should certainly go beyond the U.S., because the universities in China or India or Russia or Europe or Latin America need to introduce their own perspectives, which in some cases may be quite different.
Well, and this is what the Carnegie Council is doing. They really are driving an outreach for all international universities to participate in this program. And I'm just happy that Texas Tech, that we're doing this participation. But to expand on the question of universities, what's the plus for domestic and international students to discuss ethics in our learning community?
Well, I think one of the major pluses is that with the domestic students, there is, however we want to call it, an American mindset and the U.S. view of what ethics is. But at the same time, there are very different views which can be reflected by some of our international students. Here at Texas Tech, we have students from over 100 countries. And the number is increasing, as is just the sheer number of our international students. For example, this year we have enjoyed very, very significant growth in our international numbers, and our goal is to double the number, the total number by 2020. So it's extremely enlightening for our students to be able to engage with the international students and examine the various points and views of what constitutes global ethics.
The next point I want to raise with you is that we've tried in a lot of ways to promote cooperation and understanding, and the Global Ethics Day is in its inaugural phase. This is exactly what the Carnegie Council is starting, and this is the first year that we're moving in this direction. Is the Global Ethics Day a difference without distinction? And the point that I'm trying to get to is just an annual dialogue, or can it be more the bedrock of lifting ethical leaders? When you say difference without distinction, that is that we come to the day, we have the dialogue, and, and we continue our practices. How do you see it lifting uh, ethical leadership and maybe even guiding us into the future?
Well, that's a great question because it starts as a day, but that day may be like striking a match to a bonfire.
Ah.
Because when these issues are discussed, you might have some very, very keen intellectual and academic minds out there who may have never considered this issue. And then all of a sudden it arises, they start thinking about it, and it leads to further study, and it goes on and on throughout the year. Because, as you say, this will be the first one, so I suspect that the initial role is going to be to try to get some kind of a definition or a variety of definitions and as to what it is. But then, hopefully, each year it will succeed in examining the depths of the issue, the broadness of the issue, and it will lead to more and more academic and intellectual exploration and further research. So while it might be a day, I think it has huge significance beyond that.
As a former ambassador and seeing what the Carnegie Council is all about, is there a particular scene of study, of thought that you feel like at our institution we can practice to enrich our students and expand our knowledge? And is there a basic area where you feel like we need to focus on uh, looking at the different things you've seen as an ambassador?
Well, Texas Tech has an excellent reputation amongst employers. Um, they see our graduates as very hardworking, as ethical. You know, if
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want to,
yeah.
if we want to use that. So yes, because we reflect to a large extent the area of the United States where we are located, because so many of our students come from this area, and I think they bring with them some very traditional values which historically could be characterized as typifying American ethics. So that equation definitely could be contributed to the global aspects of it. Immaterial of one's religious background, I very much think that there is this notation or the concept here of the golden rule, of treating others as you want to be treated. And that, to me, probably has more universal implications than just about anything else that can be articulated in very erudite academic language.
So in reality, we're grateful that the Carnegie Council for Ethics and International Affairs has got us thinking and pushing this on us as institutions across the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.